Hello and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you may be joining us from, and welcome to this webinar. My name is Omar, and I am here with ClickUp, and today we're going to be talking about using ClickUp with Miro for product managers to help you get a little bit ahead, stay organized, and stay focused on pumping out the great products that we do. I am joined here today with Miro, with my colleague from Miro, Lindsay Meredith. Would you like to introduce yourself, Lindsay?
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Lindsay, and I'm on the product marketing team at Miro. I've been with Miro for a couple of years now, and it's been so exciting to see the growth, both in our user base and with our awesome integration. So really excited to talk with you today about how to use Miro and ClickUp together.
Brilliant, thank you. And as I said, my name is Omar McAdam, and I am here with ClickUp. I recently joined the product team, but I'm one of the very early users of ClickUp for several years now. And I recently joined to help bring even more great products and features to you all. So be on the lookout for a lot of great new releases coming soon. So just to do a little bit of a check-in, it would be great to hear from each of you. Let us know what your title is, what your organization name is, whether it's a software company, hardware company, biotech, and your location. I can see we've already had Thomas saying good morning from isabelslighting.com in Vermont. Hello, good morning to you. We have a lot of people joining in now. I can see the numbers climbing rapidly. We've got about 400 odd people here. We've got Nayan Kumar. Good morning to you. Good morning to Eric. Good morning to Eric, to Derek Carlson, owner of Conscious Creative Collaborations. That sounds like quite an interesting project. We've got College Station. We've got a lot of people in the house here.
And be sure to set your chat to panelists and attendees so that everyone else can see where you're from as well. If it's just panelists, please. Only Omar and I can see. So switch that to panelists and attendees so everyone can see.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that, Lindsay. We've got people from South Africa. Hello in South Africa. I'm sure you guys are having a great afternoon already. Trinidad and Tobago. Very nice to meet you, Enrique. We have a lot of great people in here from India. We've got Brazil, a truly international group here. Now, if you are watching the recording on YouTube, also go in there in the comments and put in where you are located, what organization you're from, and what type of product manager you are. And we will give you a shout out on YouTube in the comments later on. Got a lot of messages here. Sorry if we don't manage to get to everyone. We've got the UK, we've got Carla, Pat, Jang, Philippe, Karen, Bjorn, Alex, another Bjorn, we've got two Bjorns in here. Peter from Czech Republic, Romans, Mansi, Jose, Marcin, Victoria, just quick shout outs. Thomas, Joanne, Philippe, Martin, Ricard, Eric, John, thank you everyone for your messages. We will take note here and thank you very much for sharing all your different locations. It's always beautiful to see how many people are using ClickUp in such a different way from all across the globe. I've seen people from every continent here. I think I can say pretty happily. Has anyone stood out to you, Lindsay?
You know what I was just thinking? We didn't say where we are calling in from.
Yes, of course. Lindsay, would you like to go first?
Yeah,
someone's guessing Antarctica.
That's a good call. I don't think I saw anyone from Antarctica. I'm calling in from sunny Los Angeles. It's going to be 80 degrees today, and we have a Miro hub here in LA. What about you?
Very nice. I am coming in from the Canary Islands, floating around off the coast of Morocco. It's always a stable 30-something degrees Celsius, which I think is about 77 Fahrenheit. We got people from all over the place, but nobody from Antarctica. We need to get people in from Antarctica.
I think we should get people to Antarctica, and then we'll get them click up there.
Brilliant. Thank you, everybody. There we go. We've got one volunteer, Corey Lewis, saying, okay, I'm moving to Antarctica 1 second. Thank you very much, Corey. Let us know when you get there, and we'll send you some credit to your ClickUp account.
For sure.
Right. So that we don't spend the whole time just talking about where everybody's from. Let's do a very quick second part to the check-in. If you are currently a ClickUp user, please post in the chat with a yes, thumbs up, or a tick mark. And if you are not, please put a no symbol or a thumbs down. Okay, so we see lots of yeses. There's a few little no's in there. A few more little no's in there. Okay, but the majority are ClickUp users. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. So for those of you who are not ClickUp users yet, we will be talking about some of the hierarchy in ClickUp. I'll give a very quick overview of the stuff within ClickUp. And if at any point you find something that you want to find more information about, or you want to find out how deep the feature can go, then please post in the chat. And we have with us here today, joining in Holly, Brandon, Alexandra, and Hannah from ClickUp, who will do their absolute best to give you guys all the information that you need, want, and love. Now let's do another little one. Are you a Miro user? Same thing, if you're a Miro user, let's give a thumbs up. If you're not a Miro user, let's put a thumbs down or a no. Okay, we've got a nice little spread of people here. We've got absolutely, yeses, maybes, no's.
Kind of 50-50 split. That's exciting.
That is very exciting. So for those of you who are not Miro users, we will be sharing a link in the chat where you can sign up for a Miro account. We will cover a little bit more detail about that very soon. But we got Jay Wolf coming in here saying, big Miro user. Thank you very much, Jay.
I think Jay said he was in LA too. Jay, I'm a big fan.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit then about product managers. This is life as a product manager. Product managers live almost as the Google or the search engine of a company. Everybody comes to a product manager to find answers, to find workarounds, to have more information, to find out why a customer's system is not working. And so product managers can be seen as the search engine of a company. But another part of the function of a product manager is actually to create those things and go through the calculations and come up with the scenarios and come up with ways to accomplish things that you currently can't. But the journey does not stop after a product, service, or item has launched. We all know that. 2 years down the line, somebody will send you a message like, hey, do you remember this thing? Where's the paper? Where's the image? Where's the this? And you're like, what? So we are expected to be a catalog of new information, ideas, but also old information. And to be a good product manager or a product team, it's not just about being a great problem solver. It's about being organized. Holding everything in our heads is extremely terrible. You end up with burnout. You end up with situations where you mix up information. You end up in conditions whereby somebody will ask you a question and you'll answer a completely different question. And so it's important to be organized as a product manager. To do that, ClickUp is an amazing tool. And using ClickUp with Miro will help you to stay organized, structured, let your teams have the availability of the information and the data they need without you being woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning because somebody wants to know whether a feature is meant to work this way or whether it's a bug. So let's talk about the structure or the hierarchy in ClickUp. So you may have seen these images in a few different ways. You may have seen these images posted around or indeed covered in other webinars. For product managers, the structure of data in ClickUp can be extremely interesting and exciting. And because there is no one size fits all for product teams and product managers, it's important to look at the hierarchy of the data and the items and see how you can make it work for your team. One of the key things with ClickUp is find something that works for you, make a system for it, and then share that with everyone else. So within ClickUp, the absolute highest level of hierarchy is your workspace. This is generally your company's workspace. This will be your company's account within ClickUp. Within workspaces, there are spaces, and you can think of spaces either as departments or functions of your company and organization. So, for example, you could have engineering as a space, product team as another space, finance as a third space, and so on. Within spaces, you can either have folders, which contain lists, or you can directly have lists in a space. You don't need to have a list inside of a folder for it to exist in a space. And then the last and final item is tasks and items. And this is where your data is actually held. If you want to think of the structure of items, everything in this center level here can have different types of data structures. And here is where your data is actually entered. So, for example, within a list, I can say that every item has a priority, and then on the individual tasks and items, I will set the priorities. One important thing, which is a great benefit to product managers, is that tasks and items can exist in multiple lists at the same time. There is a ClickUp, which we released, called Tasks in Multiple Lists, a very descriptive one. That will allow you to have a task in a list over here, but then you could also have it in a list which is in a completely different space. The highest level that it will go to is a space, so you can't put a task in multiple workspaces, but it can be in any list across your workspace. This next slide is a bit scary, but I will explain it as we go through. So we said spaces can only exist in a single workspace. A folder can only exist in a single space. A list can exist in a space or in a folder, but tasks can exist in multiple lists. So this way, then, you can see that a task as a data item or a work item can end up in multiple places. And this is a key thing for product managers. You don't want to end up repeating yourself. You don't want to end up with duplicate information where something then ends up getting old and thrown away. Somebody references the old version later on, and then you end up in a little bit of a headache. So let me very quickly come into here. And this here is a ClickUp environment. For those of you who are ClickUp users, you will be familiar with this view. For those of you who are new, welcome to your ClickUp home. So we can see on the left-hand side here are spaces. Product is currently a space, and you can give it a nice emoji icon. It makes things a lot more friendly when you have little icons like that. Product delivery is a space, engineering, marketing, sales, support, etc. These here are all spaces. If we open up sales, we can see then that things are organized into folders such as CRM, account management, promotional calendar, but we also have a list directly in the space. Within here now, we have other lists that exist within these folders that we can expand out and use to organize and sort our information, tasks, items, and data into good places where we can always refer back to them. One of the great features of ClickUp is that you can always come in, add a new space, select a template, choose something that's related to you or your work, and add it in. You can also go and add folders. We have a lot of templates in there, so feel free to go through, experiment, see how different items look. Now, if you noticed one thing that we spoke about, or that we saw, sorry, on the screen, is that different lists have different types of information in there. Why do these guys have this? And why do these guys here not have them? That's related to custom fields. You can define different types of data attached to this list that will live within either the list. You can put it as a folder and it will affect all the lists below it, or you can put it in a space and it will affect everything within that space. So these here are custom fields that you can configure, also opportunity, email, etc. So you can see how using ClickUp will allow you to create any kind of data structure or task structure that you need, keep all of your data relevant in one place and one position. And the great thing about this is that you can always search by any of the data in any of these fields. So the search function works across everything, as you can see in the top here, search by task name or custom field value. And it also allows you to filter items. For example, I can filter everything to say where plan is equivalent to business. And now I can see everybody who is on the business plan. So as product managers, these little tools help us to stay structured and organized, keep the data out of our head, but keep it structured and organized somewhere that it makes sense to everybody else. Just checking in here if anybody has any questions. I'm sure our team are doing an amazing job in answering them. If you are asking questions, please be sure to ask them in the Q&A section. And let's keep the chat for general chat or general comments, just to make sure that we can stay on top of everything. So now that we've seen what is possible with ClickUp, and again, please use the templates. There are lots of amazing ones in there for lots of different types of things, and it can sometimes really give you a great visual of what you can do with your data. Let's talk about some of the features that we will be highlighting today. So we will be talking about ClickUp Docs. So ClickUp does have a document system, which allows you to keep documents, attach documents to tasks, various locations, etc. We will be talking about them. We briefly touched on custom fields just a couple of minutes ago. We will be talking about automations, which, if you are not already using automations, could give you an idea of how you can use automations within ClickUp. We will be covering dashboards in ClickUp and how you can use them to show information, not just internally to your team, but to the rest of the organization and stakeholders. We will be talking about relationships, which is how you connect multiple tasks together so that people can easily switch from one another, i.e. related information. And we'll also be talking about clips. If you haven't seen it already, it's a brilliant feature and it's super handy for product managers just to quickly record a video clip to explain something. Some other features which we have for those of you who are new, we have automatic sprints, we have milestones, we have a million different views. We will show some of them today. Tasks in multiple lists, subtasks, notepad, public sharing, form, the list goes on and on. If you are looking for something specific, please ask in the chat and we will do our best to link you to some documentation. Now, moving on to Miro. And again, please have a look in the chat if you are in Zoom, and you will find a link to sign up for Miro yourself. Otherwise, if you're watching on YouTube, you will also find it in the description of this video. Go sign up with that link, check it out. And now I will hand it over to Lindsay.
Awesome. Just let me know when my screen is up and I'll get started.
You are up.
Great. Well, thank you so much for that overview of ClickUp, Omar. And I'm excited to share a brief intro to Miro before we get into the demo portion of the webinar. Since we have about 50% of the people here who haven't used Miro before, I want to keep it pretty high level and give you kind of a beginner's look at Miro and why it would be valuable to you. A little bit about our company before we dive into the product. We were founded in 2011, and we've been growing 300% year over year. We have about 15 million, actually a little over 15 million users and over 700 employees worldwide. When I joined Miro about 2.5 years ago, we had about 100 employees. So it's been a wild ride over the last couple of years. We have offices around the world and we're expanding rapidly. And our team and our customers are a truly global distributed team. And we use Miro in the company every day to collaborate and stay connected around the world. So what is Miro? If you've never used it before, it is an online collaborative whiteboard platform. What does that mean? Online, it's totally cloud-based. You can access Miro from anywhere and from any device. You can see the devices we support at the bottom of the screen here. So you can open up your whiteboard from your phone, from your tablet, from your laptop, from touchscreens like a Surface Hub. It's really flexible. You can access it anywhere. It's collaborative, meaning it works kind of like Google Docs, where everyone can be on the board and collaborating live at the same time. So you can see your coworkers' cursors and get that true feeling of working side by side, even while remote. It's a whiteboard, so it's free form. You can do anything there, right? You can draw, you can use sticky notes, you can diagram, and it's just a fun, creative space without any limits. You can never find the edge of the whiteboard, so you can expand and put everything that you need to in one place. And it's a platform, meaning that it integrates with your favorite workflow tools like ClickUp and other tools that you may use perhaps for communication or for document management. And you can find all of our integrations at Miro.com/marketplace. So how can your team use Miro? And I was thinking about, since we're primarily product managers today, what are some of the best ways that product managers use Miro and really get value from it? And there were three kind of themes that I thought were really relevant for this audience. And the first is to collaborate during meetings and workshops. So, we've been in a remote work setting for over a year now. We probably all have some fatigue in our meetings, and Miro can really help teams to inject some energy, some interactivity back into their meetings. And I'm going to show you how you can do that. To ideate with colorful digital sticky notes. Oftentimes we spend a lot of time accomplishing tasks and being efficient, but sometimes we need to break out of that structured environment and just be creative and play a little and have fun to spark ideas. And Miro is a great place to do that as well. And to finally to strategize. With an infinite canvas, you can get totally creative. You can diagram, you can show your big vision in a visual way that's so much more impactful than just with words. And I'll show you some examples of how you can use that as well. So let's talk about the first idea here, which is using Miro for meetings and workshops. And in this example here, I have a video that shows Miro live from an internal Miro meeting. And you can see we have over 80 people. Oh, thank you, Loom. I don't need that right now. We have over 80 people on the board collaborating in real time. You can see their cursors moving, and we feel that energy of our coworkers working together live with us. This is a really great way to make your meetings more exciting. And we see a lot of people using this for brainstorms, for project kickoffs, for workshops, and retrospectives. I'm going to go ahead and exit presentation mode and show you that we're actually in a Miro board right now. So I can zoom out, and you can see this infinite space I have where I have my presentation at the top and I have lots of examples on the board to show how you can use Miro. When you're using Miro in meetings and workshops, there are some great features built in to inject that energy and creativity into your meetings. We have our collaboration toolbar here on the bottom left. So if you're facilitating a meeting, there's some great tools for you. One is that you could start a video chat right from on your board. So if you have a team retrospective board, maybe you've attached that in ClickUp in a team or a product space, you can all join the board and pull up a video chat and just start collaborating and chatting live. We also have a timer built in so that you can time different activities. This really helps to keep your meeting moving, keep you on schedule on your agenda. And there's also built-in background music that you can play as well to kind of help with those awkward silences when people are doing that individual work, maybe brainstorming or prioritizing, whatever that may be. We also have a built-in voting plugin to make your meetings interactive as well. So you can run a voting session right from within Miro. Let's say you've generated a bunch of ideas. Your team can decide collaboratively together what are the best ideas and how to prioritize that list. And I actually have one fun sneak peek for you guys. This is recently released but not launched. A new feature we just built called Reactions, and this will be officially launched next week. But that exists right here on the top of the board. And when you click this, it's going to pull up a bunch of reactions that you can send up on the board, which makes our presentations and our meetings just more fun and interactive. As a facilitator, it's a great way to keep the pulse on your audience. Maybe you're presenting and see if people like what you're showing. That's just a brief overview of some of the features that you can use in Miro when running a meeting. There are some additional features like hiding frames, bring everyone to me, that aren't as fun to demo when you're all alone on the board, but be sure to check those out when you use Miro, and you can have a free trial of those features as well. So I want to point out that we are moving back into in-office maybe later this year, and people will be back in the conference room having their meetings, and we all look forward to that time. But what does that mean? Can Miro still be valuable for you then? And we actually have some features built in to help with that as well. So one of the, I think, really wow features in Miro is our ability to automatically digitize digital sticky notes. I'm going to actually demo this live for you real quick. So I'm going to click here on the left-hand side where I can find my tools and open up Stickies Capture. And what I can do now is I can grab a photo of some sticky notes. So let's say Omar and I met and we had a meeting where we brainstormed some ideas and we have the whiteboard, but now it's time to leave the conference room and we still want to have that information that we generated in the meeting. So I can upload this photo right into Miro and it will scan the photo, identify the sticky notes for me, and it will convert them to text so that they become fully editable sticky notes in Miro. So let me go ahead and, oh, hold on, I've got a little meeting window blocking my button here. Sorry about that. Let me zoom this up. There we go. Add to board. And it's going to add those sticky notes on the board for me. And now these are fully editable. It will color match and we can see the text. So this is a great way for you guys to bridge that gap between the physical and the digital world. On the board here, I have some additional examples. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. Just want to kind of inspire you and kind of show you some ways that you can use the tool. We have an infinite canvas here, right? And you can really just do anything that you want to show visually on the board. So one of the big ways people use it is digital sticky notes. Actually, last month, 175 million sticky notes were created in Miro. And sticky notes can help us when we brainstorm, right? We can generate ideas. We can use them to cluster and identify themes. We can use them to vote and identify a prioritized list and ultimately decide what we want to move forward with. We can use Miro to diagram. We have built-in shapes and connection lines. You can create any sort of diagrams that you need to, from mind maps to flow charts to user flows, customer journey maps. The possibilities are endless. And you can actually go into our templates library where you can navigate through and then get a start on any sort of map that you want to create. We have tons in there for you to choose from, so you don't have to start from scratch. As product managers, we do some early ideation, sketching, wireframes. This is a great place to do that kind of sketching as well. Lo-fi, not as heavy lift as a design tool, but get your ideas across in a fast and efficient way. Also really approachable for non-designers. So when you have stakeholders who are not in the design org that want to give input, Miro is a great place for you to invite them. That feels very approachable, where they can get comfortable as well. And we have built-in wireframing libraries as well, so you can have all those UI elements that you need, as well as, of course, using native shapes as well to diagram. Finally, just a really popular way to use Miro is mind maps. We have built-in mind mapping templates here, so you can quickly create mind maps for anything you need. There's keyboard shortcuts. It makes it really easy to do that. And you can customize the look and feel of your mind map. Let's say this is a site map, right? I could go 90 degrees. We can go vertical with our mind maps, or maybe org charts. And you can get as messy as you want. And there's this cool auto arrange button that will tighten it up and make it look nice and presentable for you in one click. So that is the brief 10-minute overview of Miro. I know that's a lot of information. I can share this board with the chat as well after the demo, so you can kind of browse around, check out these examples. Omar, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you very much, Lindsay. So Miro is quite an interesting tool, and I can see a lot of people very excited for a lot of the different features in there. Taking a photo of Post-it notes or sticky notes on a board and importing that in with text recognition, I know that is one feature that I'm extremely excited to start doing. It saves having to like manually type everything out, once you're done with your physical meeting. For those of you who have been asking a lot of questions in the chat, we are doing our best to answer them. There may be a few minutes wait from when you ask your question and when it is actually answered. I did see quite a few things in there that we will cover throughout the next part over here. So don't worry too much if your question is not directly or immediately answered. But remember, there is the sign up link there. Go get yourself a free account, play around with it. Nothing beats actually using an item rather than just seeing a video about it. So to move on to our next part, let's talk about product in ClickUp and how you can stay organized. And I did see some questions over here in the Q&A about different items, project management or process management, etc. A lot of this stuff will also apply to you. You may need to set up your structures a little bit differently, but in general, we will cover everything that you should need to know, enough to give you a base of what you can do. So if we expand this product space up here, you will see that I'm not using any folders in the product space, but instead I just have a few different lists. Now, the lists are as generic as possible. As we mentioned earlier, every product team works in an extremely different way. And as a result, this here is there to serve as a general overview. Feel free to use the different things in different ways, take the ideas that you like and leave behind the ones that you don't. So within product, everything always starts with either a request or an idea. And if we click into here, we will see that we have a little system set up for requests and ideas. Embedded over here right now, we will see that there is a Miro board directly accessible here. But we also have various different views that we can share. So these here are feature requests for a super mega face recognition database. This was created by a guy who looks oddly similar to me, but has a different name. And then we have different views. Now, views are just different ways of showing the same data that you have. So if I click on public view, currently it just has the same things in there. Let's actually show closed information. So now we can see all of the closed items that were previously here. And then let's go to public view, and the public view is configured to only show the submitted items. You can share views publicly, which means then that you can give access to people outside of your organization to view this list of tasks as it appears here. If you notice, I've actually removed some of the columns versus having it in a list view where we've got created, username, etc. And when you publicly share something, you have the option to show or hide certain information from the public view. If you are used to working in a Kanban system, then you can come over to board view, and you can see a very familiar way of moving information across. Within the Kanban view, you can also show and hide different types of information and data. So you have all of the information readily accessible here. Let's go and open up one of the tasks. And now we can see that this is the actual task view. Over here, we have the title with a description text. All of our custom fields appear here. We can have subtasks up to 7 or 8 layers deep, I believe. You can have a checklist within a task, relationships, which is where you link back to items, and attachments. Alongside this as well, you have your task history, which shows you everything that has happened with this task, including when somebody puts in a comment. Let's close out of this now. And let's see what else we can do as a view within here. If you remember at the beginning here, I said, here's a little Miro board. Well, this is our voting board. When we want to vote on which features we will do next, or whether we will even do features, we can take the tasks into Miro, and then we can use this voting board document here. This is an embedded document from ClickUp, which can be embedded as a view. We can use Miro exactly as we want over here, or I can also add an embedded view directly. And then you can see the Miro board in the full screen over here. So you can have these set up in any way you wish. Moving along quickly, just to be aware of the time, into backlog. So once you've dealt with a request or an idea and you've accepted it, you can move it into the backlog. And the backlog is where then the product managers and product teams will start to plan out which items they want to do when. We can see we have, again, different views that just say, if something needs a priority, I would only want to see it here. If something is ready to be worked on, show it here. And again, we have a prioritization board, which we have in Miro for when we have those big team discussions and we want to visually organize how we're going to do everything. Coming then into features and improvements, you can see here all the various different statuses of the items. This is the actual active work. And you can see different custom fields in here now. And again, we will cover some of them very, very soon. And last but not least, here's the list or the catalog of products. And here you can see the various products with each of their features, when they are released, who the product owner is, etc. So let's have a little bit of fun. I have created a little form here, and I will share this with everybody. So let's come here and let's send this to panelists and attendees. This here is Acme Inc. And now those of you who are curiously looking at everything, you can think of Acme Inc. in the same way that most of us grew up watching those great cartoons. Acme Inc. produces tech products to help cats catch mice. Unfortunately, Tom and Jerry are now a little bit too old and they don't use technology, so it's quite inefficient. So I want you to go to that link and put in some feature requests. And somebody did mention, how can you bring data in? I'm going to put a timer up very soon, but you can put in your ideas and we will take some of your ideas and take them through the product flow, making the lists, making the tasks, and then we will carry them through to the various Miro boards. So if you want to go in there, I will add 2 minutes to the clock. Somebody did ask about the forms. You can always create a new form view. This will allow you to put in the various data fields and custom fields that you have associated with that task, set the various items as required or not required. You can rename them to any question you want. You can leave out certain data, and then when you're ready, you can view it, make sure everything looks good, and then copy the link and share that publicly. Doing this for feature requests and ideas is a great way to make sure that all of the ideas are there in the system here. So, okay, we've got quite a few coming in right now. Yeah, this is nice. Go ahead and keep adding them in. We've still got a minute left. So we're going to try and get a few more in here. You guys can see them all coming in. We've got some cool ones in here. Bucket with a trapdoor, cheese, import Tom's data for forecasting. That's a good one. Bouncy ball looks like a female mouse. Okay, a cheese trap. Screen trap, music to the mouse hunt. That will be an interesting one to do. Include some brie. It's from Scott. Thank you very much, Scott.
Great.
This here is great. You don't need to add your email address. Don't worry about that at all, guys. And again, I'm trying to keep it from kind of showing up here, put in a fake one. Weight sensitive mousetrap by Mouse Tracker. Okay, we've got a lot of great ones in here. We've got 5 seconds left, and then we will start to take some of these through to Miro. So let's just wait last second there. Okay. So everyone, thank you very much for the really, really cool suggestions here. It almost makes me really want to start up a mouse catching tech company, AI to predict mouse location, use a glass edged with a matchstick. Okay, so we have lots, import data from Jira. Thank you, Bruno. I'm wondering right now how the mice are going to deal with that. But sure, we can do import data from Miro.
All right, so now that we have all of these ideas, right, how will we decide which ones we want to move forward with? And that just feels so real, right? I'm sure this is true at ClickUp, just feature requests coming in every day, just so much data. How do you prioritize? So we have created a fun activity here to show how you can use Miro and ClickUp together to help prioritize what you want to move forward with.
Okay, so the first step that we need to do is get the data from here, because there's a lot of data in here, and we want to make sure that it goes along really well and quickly. So I will simply just come up to the top here and go to export, and I'm going to select CSV, and I want task names only. That will just then download a CSV file to my system, and then I can simply copy and paste the content of that data into
a Miro board.
Into a Miro board.
So Miro has a pretty great feature built in that allows you to copy paste from spreadsheets directly to sticky notes. So you're capturing data from a survey, feature request list, task list, and you want to have more of an interactive prioritization experience. Just highlight the cells, copy, and then paste right onto your Miro board. You'll have free-form sticky notes that you can move around and cluster, vote on. We'll show you how to do all that. All right. I'm going to go onto the Miro board here. Do you want to keep sharing the Miro board right from within ClickUp?
Yep, I can do that right here. Or actually, we'll go to the embed view, because then it's nice and full screen. So right now, I'm just doing a copy paste. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, click anywhere, and do Control V. And there we go. Like magic, we have then everybody's little suggestions here. Thank you, everybody, for not doing anything ridiculous or swearing, etc. I do appreciate you all keeping it clean. I don't particularly want to go back and blur things out for the YouTube video. So as you can see,
actually, Omar, if you want to switch to my view for this, so I can demo just how to do the voting plugin. I don't know if it won't show up on yours still.
Sure. So we're going to switch over to Lindsay's screen now. There we go.
Awesome. All right. So now we have all of your awesome ideas in a manageable form that we can interact with here in Miro. So with our sticky notes, there's so much that we can do. We could take these sticky notes and start to cluster them, right? So let's say I'm seeing a lot of cheese here. So I could grab cheese, cheese, cheese. I could start to move these over and create a cluster. I can change the color of these so that they all look the same. And I could also add a tag. So I could add the tag cheese so that those will all stay together. Adding tags is cool as well, because you can go from CSV to sticky. You can also go from sticky to CSV, and your tags will export with you and go into that spreadsheet. So you can go in both directions there. But what we want to show you today is how you can use Miro to do a vote. So I'm going to start a voting plugin, and Omar's on the board with me here. And I think some other ClickUppers are going to join us on the board. There's Holly, she's joining. Awesome, we can see her mouse. So what I can do, I'm the facilitator here. So I can actually, let's say that Holly and Omar were somewhere else on the screen. And I wanted to say, hey guys, I want you to come over here with me so that we can run a vote. I can go and say, bring everyone to me. And it will pull their cursors to where I am on the board. So it allows me to take control as a facilitator. And now I can start a vote. So let's do that. The bottom left-hand corner from our collaboration toolbar, I'm going to click voting. And I'm going to start my vote. So you can name the vote. You can set the duration. Let's be pretty quick. Let's go 2 minutes. And let's give everyone, we have a lot of ideas there. Let's do 5 votes. And then we're going to tell Miro what space we want to vote on. So we're just going to vote on this area here. Click done. And then what item type to vote on. So we're only going to vote on sticky notes. And we'll click start now. Now, Holly and Omar have gotten a pop-up that tells them to vote. If you see their mouse go up to the top right, they're clicking on the voting plugin here, and I'll do a vote as well. All right, so I'm going to vote. Let's see. I can't see Zoom chat, but let's vote for some cheese. Let's see. Oh, we gotta vote for the brie. Okay, great. So you can see that I'm done with my votes. I've added 5, so the pluses all went away. If I remove a vote, then the pluses reappear, telling me which items I can vote on. And I'll click done. So now we're just waiting for Omar and Holly to finish voting. Omar, have you already voted?
Done.
You're all done? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end voting for all. And let's see what we get. Awesome. So Mira's calculated the results for us, and we can see that our votes are pretty spread out, but we can see which items got the most votes here. So we've got include some brie as the most requested item. So what's great about this as well is the vote dots stay attached to the sticky notes. So I could easily just create a prioritized list based on these. You know, cheese and cheese got, so maybe we'll count that as 2, right? And so now we can take these ideas and we can move them forward and decide which we want to execute on. So we have on the right-hand side another template here where we have just some buckets of what we want to do with these different features. And we have move to backlog for our highly voted items. We have monitor for the items that maybe didn't get as many votes, and then do not do for the ones that we're not going to move forward with. So what we can do is we can move these over to this area. We can say we're going to include brie. That's going to be the item we're going to move forward with. We have some other items that we're going to monitor. And then let's say maybe these ones didn't get any votes, then we can move these to the do not do. And there you have it. You have a fun and interactive voting session to help you prioritize what to move forward with in Miro. And now you can take these items and actually move them forward and ClickUp. Omar, do you want to show them how to do that?
So welcome back to ClickUp here. As you can see, everything is live and updating exactly as it happens. We just wanted to share a full screen with you and let Lindsay take control so she can show you every single one of the features. So as we see, we've got one item which we said we're going to move to a backlog. We've got some others that we decided to monitor and some other items that we decided, let's not do them. They're a little bit out of what we want to actually build or our vision for the product. Again, one of your roles as a product manager is to prioritize things, see which ideas and feature requests come in and add value, and decide whether some things you want to do them or not. Sometimes you may find a repeating request, like the cheese. Then you can monitor it and keep an eye on there. So if we come back now into our list view, we can see here's all of the tasks that were already there. And let me just double check. We wanted the brie, so I can quickly search for brie. And you can see here there's a custom field called move to backlog. So this is a custom field. It's just simply a checkbox, but what happens is an automation. And if you see our little cool robot guy in the upper right here, you can have a look and see we've got one active automation. So it says that when a custom field changes, change the status and create a task. So let's see then what happens when we click on this. And you can also reorganize your other items into monitor or do not do. Just to stay on time with the webinar, we won't go into too much detail or keep moving every single item over. But we did select move to backlog and we can see the status changed to move to backlog. But then now if we come into backlog, we will see there is a new FR, a new feature request. This was automatically generated by the automation and it says include some brie. Having a look in here, we can see that it was maybe melted with some almond slices. by ClickBot, because this is the ClickBot that actually created the task for us. And it gives us an ID back to the original feature request. We are updating our automations very soon, which will then allow a lot more data to come through. But for now, we can add a relation of just putting in the ID and saying this backlog item is related to this feature request here. So now that we have a few items, if we come back here.
Should we add a couple to the list? Should you just generate?
Yep. Let's add a few more. So I'm just going to come in here and randomly tick some of these. Let's get mouse size ears. Let's get a cheese trap. Let's get music to the mouse hunt, and get a cat. Well,
was that a younger, better cat, a more agile cat? Are we retiring, Tom?
Well, guys, if you are interested, Acme Inc. does have a RoboCat for those of you with mice problems. This is coming in Q2 2021. Just go to acmeinc and you might be able to order one. This is all make-believe as well, so please don't come back to me demanding your RoboCat. Okay, so we can see here now we have quite a few feature requests and their status is needs priority.
How will we give them a priority?
Yep. So when something enters the backlog, you need to give it a priority. And by giving it a priority, it will allow you to organize items and your workflow. If you have note at the right-hand side here, we have a time in status column. This tells you how long an item has been waiting for a priority or in whichever status it is. Again, as product managers, quite often a feature request will come through, something will enter the backlog and years will go by and nobody will ever see it again. So by having this time in status over here, you can actually sort your tasks by this column and see which items have been in the status the longest and start to prioritize them there. So we have these items here. They all have their little descriptions with little bits of information in there. And what I'm going to do is, again, just simply going to export task names only, and then we will move that into a different board here in Miro. So Lindsay, if you would like to share, remember guys, we do have it as well embedded here, but just for the purpose of this webinar, we will make everything bigger for you and clearer. So let's go over to Lindsay's screen.
All right, so I think I'm the facilitator in this role play here. So I'm waiting for Omar to deliver the data. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go through a simulation of how we might prioritize these 6 items. All right, so, oh, nice. Let's make those bigger. So we have 6 feature requests here. We have cheese simulation, brie, mouse size ears, get a cat, add music, and cheese trap. And for this one, instead of voting, this isn't a ton of items. We thought that a better way to prioritize would be to do an impact and effort matrix. So in this example, what we would do here as a team is just have a discussion and map these to help us decide what we want to move forward with. So maybe we can just try a couple. All right, so Omar, what do you think here about cat-sized mouse ears in terms of high impact and high effort?
So looking through over here, I think as a tech company, cat-sized mouse ears could be and you guys can see everything as I'm dragging it as well on the screen. This is a high effort, but it is also a high impact item. So if we move this over here, then we have...
We've never manufactured anything before, so we have to open up a whole new line of business to make that happen.
But that's okay. I'm sure we can find a local partner who will be able to do that with us. How about for the cheese trap, Lindsay?
The cheese trap. The cheese trap seems pretty standard, and it also seems very effective. It's been around for many years. I kind of think this is a high impact, low effort item.
Okay, that's a good one.
Not a lot of innovation needed there.
Sorry?
There's not a lot of innovation needed there, so I think we could make that one happen pretty easily.
Yeah, definitely sounds good. Cheese simulation system. That is quite high effort, especially since we're going to really need to prioritize, simulate cheese. I don't know how you would do that. but it would have a high impact because then we could really go and catch a lot of mice.
Yeah, I kind of think getting a cat maybe over here, high impact, low impact, high effort. How are we gonna recruit this cat, and will they even chase, or will they just sleep all day? We don't know.
Yep.
Well, let's
Oops.
I can show you how to lock that down. That's a good opportunity. As a facilitator, you can click lock, boop, and now no one can move it.
All right.
Well, let's just put these on, and now we have shown how you can. We have this awesome visual impact map here. We have also had a nice interactive meeting where we made this a really collaborative and inclusive experience for the whole team. Now, also, as we put this into ClickUp, people can look back, they can see this information, they can see why we made these decisions, and it stays collaborative. So we can use commenting to say like, hey, can you give me some context on this? And so we can keep the lines of communication open on the information we are putting into ClickUp. And these are living documents, right? So if things change, what's in ClickUp will stay up to date. You're not dealing with like PDFs that are getting out of date or anything like that. So it's a great way to share context as you move into execution. Shall we go back into ClickUp? I think maybe you're.
Yep, there we go. I'm back. So now we can see these items are here in ClickUp. And if we wanted to, we could simply then come into our catalog of items, and we can say for the cheese simulation system, this was a now, this was a next. We can even put them as later and as never. The current integration with Miro is going to be upgraded later on this year, which will allow amazing click, drag, drop, import, and export directly of information. So that is something to look forward to. And in the meantime, you can already use it in embedding and doing the various items here. We are starting to slowly run out of time. So I will try and rush through a few things coming up. So let's have a look at some more items and ways that you can use Miro within your ClickUp items. So here's a mobile app navigation for the cat catching company. This is loaded in via a template, and you can create your own templates that will then be that you can apply automatically using an automation, or you can also apply them manually. You can see here we have added in a wireframe. So if I zoom into this, you can see the wireframe for the app navigation right here. So again, you can use Miro's wireframing features to come in and create wireframes directly in the tasks. And we've just attached a design item here. Depending on which design system you're using, you can either upload images, or we do have direct integrations with various others. Now, imagine that you want to explain this wireframe here to the engineering team. You can come at the bottom here and tap on this record button, and then that will allow you to record and embed a ClickUp clip. It's quite a mouthful, ClickUp clip. ClickUp clip. That then people can watch and play through and see everything here. They can make it full screen, they can download it, and you can attach the clips in various other places. Here's a lot of additional stuff, and you can see how the different types of data can be attributed to different types of tasks. We have a lot of webinars covering custom fields, covering how to attach items, covering relationships. Be sure to go and check out a lot of them all over the place. It's clickup.com/webinars, and you will have a great overview. Another way that you can use the ClickUp items is within docs. So for example, if I had a storyboard which is related to an item, I can put here the link to the meeting, who was in attendance, some of our notes, and then we have a visual copy of the exact board as they would have seen it and dealt with it in Miro. So this here then becomes your living documentation. You can see this here is attached to the mobile app navigation. And if I come through here, let me just quickly go back to There we go. If we come down to the bottom here, we will see that there is a relationship with a doc called the storyboard meeting, which is where we just were. Thank you. I don't think we have much time left. I see some people have to drop off for another meeting. We are very sorry that we went over the time a little bit. Let's open up the floor to some questions for those of you who are still here. If you have ideas for webinars, please ask. If you want us to go into more detail on some items, feel free to ask. Also check out the ClickUp webinars that already exist. We do have a lot of webinars out there covering all of the topics that we've spoken about today. Again, the Miro integration is having a complete revamp later on. So by you using it, it will boost up its priority, and you can also give us feedback about what you would like to see in there and how you would like to see the functionality working. Lindsay, do you have anything that you want to cover? And we can go over the last few questions that are here, if there are any.
Yeah, I can stay on for a few extra minutes for sure. Let's see, should we go into the Q&A?
Let's go in. So Romans is asking Miro versus Mural. What's the key differences?
Okay. So, well, not really the point of this, this webinar here, but some of the key differences are just in terms of use cases. Murals typically more for like design thinking and UX, whereas Miro, our approach has been to be much more horizontal and accessible to non-designers. The app also, our app is also an infinite canvas. It supports hundreds of simultaneous users. And I think we have probably about 3 times the amount of templates just based on our ability to be more of a horizontal tool. But there are definitely resources where you can find those differences online as well. I think a lot of people do articles and videos about the differences. So maybe if you YouTube search it, it could be a good way to kind of get more specifics on that. Cool. What else?
Maybe let's see if there's any additional last minute ones. How was the Miro board frozen with the current solution in place, like a screenshot in ClickUp? That's a very good one. Let me show you here. So the Miro board will remember your last positioning, or as a default positioning within there. So because last time I zoomed in a little bit, it remembered where I was. Lindsay, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can set a default viewpoint.
You can set a start view so that whenever that board loads, it will load to that specific area on the board. Absolutely. You can also, we have a notes feature on the right-hand side. So that little, it looks like a piece of paper. So that's our notes feature. You can pin that open and actually kind of build your own navigation. So if you have a lot on the board, you can put links in there for people to quickly access different areas of the board.
Brilliant.
I think someone asked me if they get a deal for Miro today. Miro is has a free plan that's free forever. It's 3 boards. So you can absolutely just go in there and get started. Unlimited users and 3 boards.
Yep, brilliant. And I'm sure that someone from our team will post the link into the chat for you all. There's a lot of questions here. Unfortunately, maybe we won't have an opportunity to go through them all. If not, then we will try to reach out to you and give you some additional support in there. Thank you, everybody. I see a lot of thank you messages. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Thank you so much. The recording of this will be up on our YouTube channel a little bit later on. Please also go to clickup.com/webinar, see what other webinars you have, or we have, sorry, coming up very soon. And feel free to always recommend and suggest webinars or request webinars. I have been Omar for ClickUp, and Lindsay.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Omar. It's been so fun to show you how Miro and ClickUp can work together and how you guys can move from idea into execution. What a great hour. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and good luck using Miro, and we hope to see you in both platforms very soon and on another webinar as well. Take care. Bye-bye.